Despite being constructed for a population of millions, this megacity and the proposed new capital of South Korea feature deserted streets. While no inhabitants have relocated to the new capital to date, it remains to be seen if it will attract sufficient residents. Furthermore, there are plans to shift Jakarta, one of the globe's most extensive cities, to a currently unoccupied tract of land in the jungle. The question arises, why are nations creating new cities entirely from scratch? Today, we will delve into the inner workings of these peculiar urban centers and determine whether these newly planned cities are thriving or faltering. This is Naypyidaw, the recently developed capital of Myanmar. Between 2002 and 2012, this entirely new urban center was constructed from the ground up. Presently, it ranks as Myanmar's third largest city in terms of land area and has all the amenities of a metropolis. Nonetheless, it has gained notoriety for its eerie, deserted quality since it houses significantly fewer inhabitants than originally anticipated. In addition to its notable lack of people, the city's function remains somewhat enigmatic. Naypyidaw was built due to the overcrowding of Myanmar's previous capital, Yangon, which had limited space for expansion. However, some evidence suggests that the creation of this peculiar new capital might actually be a tactical military decision. For instance, approximately 25 construction firms developed the city for around $5 billion, keeping the project under wraps for a significant period. Then, out of nowhere in 2005, the government declared its intention to transfer its central offices 320 kilometers from Yangon to this little-known city. Furthermore, the city's location is highly isolated and offers limited access to the sea, thereby rendering it challenging for potential foes to launch an attack on the capital. The city's road network is also weirdly arranged in an inconvenient manner, making intercity transportation challenging. Additionally, there is a 20-lane expressway of sufficient width to accommodate aircraft takeoffs and landings. Nonetheless, this military maneuver may not only have defense objectives. Historically, the government struggled to maintain control over the surrounding regions of Naypyidaw, and the city's placement is expected to strengthen the government's authority over these central areas. Overall, Naypyidaw appears to be the world's most peculiar capital city. Although its population is presently growing at approximately 6% annually, the total population currently stands at around 750,000 individuals, significantly below the government's initial target of 9 million people for Naypyidaw. Interestingly, Myanmar was not the only country to relocate its capital in 2002. South Korea's Sejong administrative city was initially introduced in 2002 to address the uneven distribution of economic growth across the country and alleviate congestion in the capital city of Seoul. Ever since then, the initiative has remained a contentious political issue. As with most capital cities, Seoul suffers from overcrowding and exerts significant economic influence over South Korea. However, the situation is more severe in South Korea than in other regions. Approximately 50% of the country's population, or roughly 25 million individuals, reside within the Seoul metropolitan area. As a result, the construction of Sejong commenced in 2007, and in 2012, government agencies began relocating from congested Seoul to the new capital, situated only 125 kilometers away. The original plan was for all government entities to move to Sejong by 2012. Still, as of today, nearly half of the government ministries, as well as the National Assembly, continue to operate from Seoul. The idea behind Sejong was to be a self-sufficient city with all the amenities a city requires, including plenty of green spaces and extensive infrastructure for electric vehicles. The city is also outfitted with smart technologies, including interactive digital signage and automated waste collection. However, despite the futuristic design and amenities, many individuals still have to travel 4 hours to work in Seoul rather than relocate to Sejong. One of the reasons is the city's inadequate transportation links and services, which have failed to attract people away from Seoul. Furthermore, while the high-end housing plans for Sejong provide plenty of green spaces, The city has been criticized for fostering car dependency and a lack of community spirit. Sejong's potential as a viable alternative to Seoul is still uncertain, but the city's growth is slowly gaining traction. Currently, the city's population is only around 400,000, a far cry from Seoul's massive population of 25 million. However, Sejong's advantages as a cleaner, greener city with ample amenities and infrastructure are beginning to attract families and businesses seeking a better quality of life. As the city expands and institutions continue to relocate, Sejong's population is projected to reach 500,000 by the time it becomes South Korea's official capital in 2030. Despite its promising prospects, the success of Sejong as a fully functional capital city will ultimately depend on whether it can effectively handle all government functions and live up to its grand vision. Additional cities are being constructed from the ground up, aside from Sejong and Naypyidaw. Indonesia's Nusantara is in progress and will substitute Jakarta as the national capital. The Indonesian government has been considering relocating their administrative capital from Jakarta since the 1950s. Finally, in January 2022, the parliament ratified a bill to shift the capital city to a remote jungle location over 2,000 kilometers away, situated on an entirely separate island. What could be the reason behind the Indonesian government's decision to allocate such a significant amount of money and energy towards moving the capital city thousands of kilometers away? And when exactly will this take place? Jakarta is known for its high population density and pollution, characterized by the incessant roar of motorbikes and the fumes they emit. With nearly 11 million people residing in the city itself and 30 million in the larger urban area, Jakarta is the world's fastest sinking city, having sunk by 2.5 meters in the 10 years leading up to 2019, with more frequent occurrences of flooding. According to a recent study by Indonesia's National Research and Innovation Agency, unless immediate and radical action is taken, approximately 25% of Jakarta could be submerged by 2050. The study identified that the primary cause of Jakarta's sinking is the excessive usage of groundwater. Moreover, climate change is resulting in rising sea levels and more frequent extreme weather conditions, leading to flash floods from both the sea and upstream. Despite constructing a 47-kilometer-long seawall along the sinking coastline, a mosque and a few houses have already succumbed to the sea. The alarming situation has prompted the Indonesian government to establish an entirely new capital on the island of Borneo. Currently, when flying over the Borneo forests, one can witness the initial stages of construction taking place. The clearance of trees for roads, access routes, and primary government building locations have already begun. The proposed city, named Nusantara, will occupy an area of 2,500 square kilometers, approximately 3 times the size of New York City, with most of the land presently covered in rainforest. There are several justifications for selecting Borneo as the site for Nusantara. Firstly, Borneo is geographically central and culturally reflective of Indonesia, unlike Java, where Jakarta is currently situated. Secondly, it is anticipated that Nusantara's development will alleviate Jakarta's overcrowding and stimulate economic growth not only in Borneo, but also throughout Indonesia. Furthermore, Borneo has a significantly lower occurrence of natural disasters compared to low-lying Java and other islands that are susceptible to flooding, earthquakes, and volcanic eruptions. Nusantara's construction will proceed in 5 phases, commencing with a ceremonial groundbreaking in August 2022 and concluding with a 5th and final phase scheduled for completion in 2045, with a projected population of 2 million. The estimated cost for the entire project is $32 billion, with 40% of the funding originating from private investment provided by Indonesian and international companies. The original plan aimed for the government to relocate to Nusantara by 2024. However, given the current pace of progress at the construction site, it seems doubtful that this target will be met. Following a visit from the Japanese government delegation to the construction site, their investment was subsequently withdrawn. Therefore, the Indonesian government is currently seeking investments from wealthy Middle Eastern nations such as Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. China is also expected to contribute significantly to the development of Nusantara. As with previous instances in Naypyidaw and Sejong, only time will determine whether Nusantara will ever be completed and if it will succeed in attracting millions of people to move there. What do you think about building these new megacities from scratch? Would you want to live in one of them? Let us know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, click the like button, turn on notifications, and subscribe to Luxury Realm for more videos like this one.